You're welcome to DBA TV, where we discuss everything international trade. In this series, you are going to be learning about what each of the Nigerian states have to offer as far as export is concerned. You know, I have maintained that Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars and that they can be self-sufficient, but you know, because the number of governors comes in with not the intention of generating income, but with the intention of sharing the money. But in this particular episode, we have put together a series of video for all the Nigerian states from Abia to Zamfara. And this to enable the new governors that are coming in, or the new administration in different states of the country, to be able to take a cue from what we've shared in this video, which, by the way, covers the peculiarity of each state apart from the preamble. It talks about the profile of the profit, of the debt and income of the state. It talks about the potential of the state. It talks about the purchaser of the product the state have to offer, and of course, the exportable product, and also the proposal we have for the state and how the state can directly profit from exporting raw materials, manufactured goods, solid minerals, and agri commodity. I believe this will be of interest to you and maybe to your governor or to commissioner, whoever it is in your state. Thank you very much for joining. Enjoy yourself as you learn through what maybe your state is what we're looking at today, what Nigerian state have to offer. Happy listening. Thank you very much. All right. Every week we go through 7 sections in this program. We have the preamble, basically explain the reason why Enugu state has to export. Then the peculiarities. What are the peculiarity of Enugu state? What's the debt profile of the state and income level, plus the level of unemployment? Then the potential, basically looking at what are the products that Enugu state can produce and export, either agri or solid minerals or even manufactured goods. Then the purchaser, who are the buyer of this product and what is the market size? Who are the buyer and what is the market size? And then proposals. What is our proposal on how the state can grow its economy? You know, one of the conversations I want to hear from presidential candidates and governorship candidates in this 2023 election is how do they want to generate revenue for their state? How do they grow the economy of the state? So the proposal is talking about how they can grow the economy, and the profit is talking about how they themselves can make money as state government from export. And you know, out of all the people contesting, I've only heard one of them talk about this particular, the fact that a state should not be waiting for the federal government to give them money. They should be producing themselves. And that's the essence of this program every week, to make a sense out of that, making us to see, okay, how do you produce yourself? How do you produce yourself? How do you generate income directly yourself? I mean, as a state. So let's start. Enugu state can avoid overdependence of federal allocation simply by going into export. The state also can boost its GDP
by going into export. The state can create employment for SME through exportation. Export has what it takes to decrease dependence on domestic market. Through export, the state can earn export proceeds and grow its revenue. Through export, the state can make farming and rural life become more lucrative. And through export, the state can gain global market share and recognition. Why does Enugu State have to export? Enugu State have to export because export can make the state home of creativity and innovation. Export can industrialize the state, can be a sort of job creation for youth, helping the youth to know, the state to know the value of their competitive advantage. It can help the state to live for others to follow. Enugu State can also become independent. Export can make the state become independent of federal allocation and help the state to have numerous incentives from the federal government. That's the business in the state. Export create opportunity to maximize the indigenous of Enugu State abroad. It's a source of poverty and education in the state. It can help the state to keep the league of state depending on wasting assets like oil. It can help the state to revive the economy. It can help the state to slow down rural and urban migration, to create tax-free opportunity for exporters in the state, utilization of idle capacity of companies. The state can become viable. We are going to check the viability of Enugu State. You know, every time we check the income level. I don't know why this is not a discussion we are having. You know, politicians will come and just stay on the podium and be making empty promises. People are not engaging them. You want to build school, you build road. How? When we get money from Abuja, yeah, there's no money in Abuja again now. How much are you getting from Abuja? Oh, IGR. How many people are working in the state? How do you intend to generate the money? Give us tangible details that we can query, question, and help you refine on how you want to generate income. Nobody's having that conversation. So we are putting all this out there for people from Enugu State and another part of the country to be able to ask the right question. The state can really not be a state that is not viable. Wealth creation for citizens of the state, help the state to extract potential of products found in the state, and yearn for more improvement because of competition and zero in on their area of strength. So what do you see in Enugu State today? Some people see unemployment, and I'm not disputing the fact that there are unemployment in Enugu State. Some people see poverty, and I'm not disputing the fact that there is poverty in Enugu State. These are facts about what is happening in this state. Some people see frustration. These are facts. But you can also choose to see opportunities in farming in Enugu State, opportunities in mining in Enugu State, and opportunities in the population of Enugu State. What are the peculiarities of this state? Enugu State was created in 1991 from Anambra State by the Babangida regime. The capital is in Enugu, and this is derived from the word Enugu, which means top of the hill. Top of the hill. Situated in the inland southeastern state, covers 7,161 square kilometers, bounded in the west by Anambra State, in the south by Kogi State, Kogi in the north, while Benue and Ebonyi in the east, Imo in the south. Enugu and Nsukka are the major town in this state. Its physical features change gradually from tropical rainforest to open woodland, and then the savanna, apart from a chain of low hill running through the Abakaliki Enugu, Ebonyi State, in the east, which is east to Nsukka, in the northwest, and southward through Enugu and Agu. The west of the state is made up of lowland separated by numerous streams and rivulets, and major ones of which is Ada River and Oji River. Opportunity for investment exists in agri, healthcare, tourism, land manufacturing, energy, and of course, mining. The state has a landmass of 7,530 square kilometers, 17 local government, population of about 4.6 or 7 million people. Tropical savanna is the vegetation. Major crop melon, yam, oil palm, taro, maize, rice, sesame, cassava. Minerals include coal, iron ore, lead, and zinc ore. The only international airport in Southeast is in this state. Presence of I think it's the new one, Anambra now. Presence of multiple free trade zone. Large allocation of technology, innovation, and startup hub. Over 16 university and institutions. Abundant coal, iron, limestone. The IGR of this state is 31.1 billion. The budget is 169 billion as at 2020. Basically saying this state cannot survive without the allocation coming from Abuja. Unemployment is very high, 31.3662%. Underemployment, 21.29%. Total unemployed, 541,000 people. Labor force is 1.7, out of which only 806 work for more than 40 hours. Profile. The IGR of this state went up 31 billion in 2019. By 2020, because of COVID, it went to 23.65 billion. Federal allocation is 53.4. Now, look at this. Debt of this state, 124 billion, 68 billion naira and 124 million. 124 million. Over 150 million, billion naira in total debt, depending on the exchange rate you are looking at. So look at this state again. Look at the way the debt had grown, 115 million, rather, 115 million. So a number of states in Nigeria keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, even though the state has what it takes. But of course, since most of the states really are not interested in generating revenue or growing the economy, everybody is interested in taking their own share of the national cake. Imagine that this state, if its budget is over 100 billion, total receipt of this state is not even up to 100 billion. 23.5 IGR, 53.4 federal allocation. So about 70% of the income is from Abuja, and about 30 is internally generated revenue. The state is doing well in capital expenditure, about 41%, which I think make a lot of sense, because for some states it's even up less, 15-20%. They are just busy paying salaries and sharing the money with not so much infrastructure right there on ground in this state. Let's see what budget have to say about this state. According to budget report of Nigerian state, given the physical turmoil created by COVID pandemic in 2020, Enugu local economy and by extension its government revenue were not spared. The state ranked 14th in physical performance index, down 5 places from 9th position in 2020. Enugu was not able to meet its spending obligation of 112 billion without resorting into borrowing. As at December 34, the state debt stock was 105 billion naira. 115 billion naira. Making the 20th most indebted state. Most indebted state in the country, 20th. Year on year, the state domestic debt saw 11.57% growth from 61 billion recorded in 2019 to 68, except the state do something about its current revenue predicament. Further borrowing may be inevitable. Unfortunately, its borrowing options are narrowing down as it has breached a critical debt ceiling of Investment and Security Act, which restricts further borrowing from capital market for any state once its debt is more than 50% of its previous year revenue. Can you imagine that? Is borrowing more than 50% of its previous year revenue. That means the revenue is so small. In 2020, revenue generation became even more strenuous for Enugu State as it experienced a 23.88 down in its IGR. This decrease was driven largely by a 39.53 decline in income taxes. From 18.1 to 10.95. The state recurring revenue structure still indicate that the state has a high dependency on federally collected revenue, which accounted for 69.03% of its revenue. The state 2020 total expenditure of 112 billion comprised 64.39 operating expenses and 3.2 loan repayment and capital expenditure of 45.18. Clearly, Enugu's spending priority are gradually tilting towards investing in capital infrastructure, like I said, which makes a lot of sense compared to its operating expenses, because it's despite capital spending for only 40% of the total state expenditure. The compelling improvement in capital expenditure is visible in economic affairs, which move up by 139.88% from 10 to 25.86 billion. Even though the state has significantly improved in its earnings, but sincerely, this state is under serious duress. This state might really not be able to survive going forward. And this is a very common and recurring decimal among Nigerian states. Common and recurring decimal among Nigerian states. Why? Because the governors do not go in to generate income. If you have friends from Enugu State, this would be a good one to share with their citizens, to be able to ask the governor, how do you intend to generate income for your state? So, what are the potential for export that is resident in Enugu State? What are the potential for income generation that is resident in Enugu State? What are the opportunities that the state have that the governor is not looking at? Let's explore. Enugu State is noted for its coal deposit. From coal alone, this state has a lot it can earn. Its main economy depends on coal before the discovery of oil in commercial quantity. That is the main reason why Enugu is nicknamed the coal city, actually. The state is predominantly agricultural, with yam tuber, palm oil or palm produce, and rice being a main produce of the state. Besides, coal, new mineral deposits have recently been discovered in Enugu, like limestone, iron ore, crude oil, natural gas, and bauxite. A network of roads connect important center of trade and industry in the state. A rail line of Eastern District of Nigeria Railway run through the state capital, Enugu to Port Harcourt, in reverse, and Enugu to Makurdi, then northward. Enugu has many industries that satisfy both local and international needs, like Enugu Vegetable Oil Product Limited, Nigeria Company Limited, Niger Gas Company Limited, Aluminium Product Limited, Enugu Building Material Industries, Eminent Limited, Anambra Motor Manufacturing Company, Premier Cashew Industry, Niger Steel, Sunrise Flour Mill, Ama Brewery, and a host of others. Agriculture plays an important role in this state. Like I said earlier, yam, palm oil, taro, rice, cassava are main crop. The state is a center for mining. Industry in the state include textile, manufacturing, food processing, lumbering, soft drink bottling, brewery, furniture manufacturing, and the like. So, what is the potential of all these for this state? Who are the buyers? And what quantity do they buy for this product? Who are the buyers? And what quantity do they buy for this product? Palm oil, $29.3 billion is the possibility in that market. Even Africa alone is about 4.28. And who are the buyers? India, China, Pakistan, Netherlands, Spain, Italy, Russia, Germany are the major buyers of this product. United States, Kenya, Egypt, Mexico, Canada. But in Africa, you have the like of Egypt, the market is 4.28. The like of Egypt, Tanzania, Angola, Togo, Kenya, South Africa, Benin Republic, Senegal, Ghana, major importer of palm oil. You then imagine what market palm oil are. Even in Africa, because of industry, using them as raw materials. Then rice, $24.7 billion. Africa alone is doing 25% of that, about $6 billion. Iraq, China, Iran, Saudi, Philippines, UAE, Yemen, Japan, Benin Republic, Cote d'Ivoire, South Korea, Senegal, Ghana, Kenya, France, Germany, United States. But in Africa, I've always claimed that Benin doesn't have the population to sustain this huge demand for rice. A good chunk of that rice escaped into Nigeria and other neighboring countries. Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, Kenya, Senegal, Cameroon, Egypt, Togo, Angola, Guinea, Somalia, Madagascar, Mozambique, Liberia, Burkina Faso, Libya, Tanzania, Niger, All this are the market available for rice in Africa. How about corn? $36.3 billion. Who are the buyers? Japan, Spain, Vietnam, Germany, Egypt, Mexico. Peru, Spain. These are the major market for corn. And in Africa alone, you have $3.73 billion from Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, South Africa, Kenya, Senegal, and the like. This state produce coal. Look at the market for coal, for crying out loud. $94 billion. $94 billion. $94 billion. This state produce coal. This state is owing about over 100 billion naira. The state being stopped from borrowing further by SEC because it's already reaching its ceiling. What is borrowing, what is making? It's not even up to 50%. It's not even up to 50%. And this is very important because this state have what it takes. But SEC restricted further borrowing from capital markets from the state because its debt is more than 50% of its previous year revenue. The total debt is more than 50% of the previous year revenue. When you look at the total revenue, the state cannot even borrow again. We need governors who will maximize the potential of the state rather than, the idea of sitting down, not doing anything, and being able to pay salary at the end of the month because someone else is giving you sharing the money is one of the biggest challenges I think we have as a nation that is killing production actually. It's killing production. No incentive to produce. Why will you even think of producing now? I mean, okay, why will you even think of producing when you can pay salary without, if a government in Nigeria decides to sleep and do nothing from beginning of the month to the end of the month, he will still be able to pay salary and they will help him. A lot of project is being commissioned in Rivers State. We're going to get to Rivers State soon. I want to see how much revenue Rivers State is generating. I'm sure because they have a lot of oil company in that state, oil and gas company in that state, that probably is contributing. And that should be a lesson because Rivers State is already an advantage because it's an oil city. But they're able to make a lot of money because there is a lot of productivity. Not because the governor did it, he inherited it. I'm looking for governors that will be able to create something like that and let the state make a lot of money, which is what we talk about every week, but adapting this model for different states in Nigeria of what is possible. Imagine coal having such a huge market from China to Japan to South Korea to Italy India, Europe, very low because they are no more, they are changing alternative energy. But many of them are going back to fossil fuel now because of the actions of this our man in Russia, weaponizing energy. Africa is even importing up to 1 billion of coal from Morocco to Egypt, to South Africa, to Senegal, to Djibouti, to Togo, to Mauritius, to Madagascar. Imagine the market for coal, even in Africa. Even in Africa. What of melon? Melon, $3.74 billion. Germany, Spain, Italy, United States, Canada, China, Hong Kong, France, Netherlands. In Africa, is very small demand, $16 million. South Africa, Libya, Botswana, Cote d'Ivoire, Cape Verde, Namibia, Seychelles, Rwanda, Namibia, Mauritius, and Seychelles. So the proposal. What are we proposing to the governor or government of Enugu State? That the government of Enugu State should engage the energy of the SMEs to contribute to the growth of the state. How will that happen? Number one, decide on the product that it wants to promote and ensure the value chain of that product is explored with the SME from beginning to the end. It must be a product in the state, maybe palm oil, for example. It must be a product produced in the state, raw materials, and with capacity to process, value addition. But what I discover is that when you have a value chain from production to harvesting and transport, to primary processing to secondary processing, secondary processing and packaging, marketing and sales, logistics and export and distribution, when an SME or only SME are involved in the chain, you have inefficient value chain operator, low processing and capacity and low output, few job creation, low quality and packaging, high cost of production, non-competitive product in the export market. Non-competitive product in the export market. But look at what we are proposing for the government to do. Government can partner with a large corporate, set up with government having larger share, not set up for profit, but for development, for growth and development. It will charge for its services, but not a huge cost. That company can decide to be producing palm oil in Enugu, palm oil. So SME1 is the one that cultivates, produce the palm oil, harvest it, transport it to deliver to SME2 who buy from SME1. SME2 deliver it to the large corporate, and this large corporate will process, primary processing, secondary processing, and package it. By the time SME2 come back, after buying raw material and delivery, and he has agreed on the design of his packaging, he's coming to pick up finished goods. He's coming to pick up finished goods. The only headache of SME2 now is logistics, marketing, sales, logistics, and export. Through this, we can create efficient value chain operator, high processing capacity and high output, good quality and packaging, low cost of production and competitive products in the export market, increase job creation, decrease inequality and decrease insecurity. There is a governor in the South who was accused recently of not paying salary and giving out some money to a particular church. The governor builds massive factories, looking for people to come and take it over. Nobody is coming to take it over. How will you build factory and wait for people to come and take it over? Shouldn't you have someone that will take it over before you even start building in the first place? But for me, right from when he started that project, I had issue with the model. Even though it's a good initiative, but the model of operation, I had a big issue with it. I feel this will be better. This will create a lot of job and opportunity, decreasing inequality, decreasing insecurity in the state. In order to support exporters in that state, to be able to enter market in Africa, Europe, and America in a secure and sustainable way, the state can partner with representatives at destination, set up warehouse at destination, set up entity at destination, partner with independent agent and this one at destination, organize and sponsor manufacturer for exhibition in the export market. Before we close today, how can the state directly profit from export? And I will use a model of palm oil. How can the state directly profit from export? How? Can the state directly profit from export? Look at the chart on the screen. This is a model we have worked on. This can be any other product, not necessarily the one I put there now. This is just to give an idea of what is possible. This is just to give an idea of what is possible. If the state used 50% of the land to cultivate palm oil, to palm kernel rather, if the state does that, it can generate, based on 18 metric ton yield per hectare, it can generate 2.4 million metric tons. If that is processed at 19% yield, it can generate 590,000 metric ton of palm oil. If we use the cost price, the selling price of palm oil per metric ton, multiplied by the exchange rate of 415, the state can make $317 billion naira. When you add all the other costs of production, of farming, of processing, of export together, and you deduct it, you can still have up to 295 billion, plus the IGR of 23, the state can have 319 billion. Remember, the budget of the state is 187 as of 2022. The state that cannot raise up to 100 billion in income is making a budget of 187. Sometimes our governors, I just don't understand, just have such a huge budget of what they want to do, but there is no huge plan of how to generate income to be able to satisfy that budget. How can this happen in Enugu state? The state can partner with Okomu Oil, for example, or any other company that have the capacity to produce, engage the farmers in the state, fund them, give them processing, training, and input to go and farm produce, plenty, but give them a guarantee to buy from them. Farm them into cooperative, issue a purchase order with a bank guarantee to buy. The SPV they set up with private organization provide training and input and support. The SPV provide collection centers for harvest of the farm produce. The product is cleaned and processed. The product is exported to the buyer, documentation and shipment done. Documents are presented and payment is made. When payment comes, the state government can pay the farmers. And the people in the state that contributed those raw materials pay also the share of profit of his partner. Operating expenses and have something reasonable to be pursuing developmental projects in the state. I am saying state government can develop their state from profit made from a product like palm oil. The impact of the suggested model for state government goes beyond the generation of revenue via export. It has a humongous impact on employment generation and increased economic activity in the state. This, in my opinion, is a more effective and efficient and enduring model for diversifying the economy of the state. This model can also be replicated by the federal government at the federal level, especially for exportation of solid minerals. All right, thank you very much, everyone. See you next week and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.